So the next talk will be by Mr. Dinesh Chindarkar on using IT for patient advocacy. Dinesh is the co-founder of Media Medic Communications, a healthcare communication agency based in Mumbai. With a degree in life sciences and pharmacy, Dinesh has done his management with specialization in pharma and healthcare marketing. He is actively working on the usage of harnessing the power of newer media for improving healthcare literacy. His company is part of the Global Health PR Group, where they have driven messages across disease awareness, category building, and patient education. Dinesh is also the Health 2.0 Mumbai chapter leader and has spoken at multiple platforms in the past. Dinesh.
Good morning to all of you. So basically I'm a pharmacist. I come from the communication background and have been working on patient education and initiatives through mass media, social media and digital medias to kind of build in a lot of education and awareness. Personally, in the last decade that we've been working, I've seen a shift of the patients towards healthcare and understanding healthcare. 7 years back, I was very enthusiastic about building awareness. So we made a brilliant film on diabetes, which was like a Star TV style, typical Balaji films probably, with all those dish and dash, and we had a type 1 case study. We saw, rather than having an interview with doctor, we actually had some live patients. We shot them at their home, made it a serial kind of a thing, thought people will be interested, and it was a big flop. Trust me, it was a big flop because people don't want to know about their health then. We realized that I think that the time wasn't probably correct, and even to the close relatives and probably parents of my close friends who had diabetes, we thought, why don't you see this 30 minutes film, which has got some 15 minutes of cases about type 1 and type 2, and then we have feelers from nutritionists and how to have active lifestyle and getting into a very positive mood. But it didn't work. People were not ready then. And I realized that health cannot be imposed on someone unless someone is seeking health. So I think in the last few years, rather the last 3 years, there's a significant change because the word of mouth and being the population that we have, and with the mobile technologies and with digital, I think we are in a completely different time. So the last 3 years have changed my outlook towards communication. I have once again become very positive on this. So just a few thoughts at which the pace at which things are changing. Was a scene from a Star Trek. We all know probably in the 80s we saw this visuals, and we were pretty excited about how things are fantasies in terms of people talking to each other on a flip phone, people virtually going from one planet to another, people at different locations connecting with each other, and today most of these things have become a reality. So I think the things are changing pretty fast. This is just a picture to represent the pace of change that is happening. This is the Vatican Square when the Pope was selected in 2005, and this year when the new Pope was elected in 2013. See the change in visual. Okay, in the 8 years you see a lot of smartphones there, you see a lot of Facebook and Twitter, people uploading live videos there, people talking to the world from there. So probably there's 1 million or so people present at St. Peter's Square are talking to maybe 100 million people outside. And I think that's the pace of change that even in health can happen, and that is what is happening currently. And that's not just in India. We know about the 850 odd phones that has penetrated in the country in less than a decade, I would say, where a television took more than 3 decades, a radio took more than 2 decades to penetrate. So the mobile penetration has changed. There are examples across the country including Maharashtra or in Gujarat, where they tried to fight malnutrition using simple messaging right to the local languages, even to the Adivasis, and a simple messaging is actually saving lives. I think that's what is so very interesting. Even the Gujarat government in the last 3 years has brought down the infant mortality rate significantly with just a simple SMS in Gujarati language going to the rural population, the women in the villages who registers at the primary healthcare center. So every week she gets her updates about her status. So I think things are changing in a big way. Consumers are changing. People are getting more responsible about health, and I see a significant shift happening from so the health which was the doctor's domain is also shifting to the patient's domain, and patients are taking charge of their health. They are talking to each other. Probably a decade back, talking about my diabetes to someone else was a taboo. I would not express about health, but people have started changing this outlook, and I think that's very, very interesting. So culturally, there's a big shift. So you have your smartphones. I won't cover much about it. I think social media has been very well covered with NRIP here. Interestingly, one of the conditions we've been working on for the last 5 years is about infertility, and there are some very interesting things that are coming up. I think women typically would not talk about this issue so openly anywhere. So we actually set up a call center, an option, a platform for women who can chat, go online, developed a mobile application through which a woman could actually track her menstrual periods and also enter her emotions along with that. So what happens is, eventually the mobile application started a two-way conversation with the women. So it started correlating her ovulation days with her emotions, so she could be more sensitized about her own self in terms of when is the typical highs or lows that she feels in her emotions, and is that correlated with her menstrual cycle. And that's an amazing feedback. I mean, in the last 9 months, we have got some 15,000 downloads for that app, and we get something like 50 interactions every day. And the couple of blogs where we see around 150, 200 interactions happening amongst women. So it's a woman talking to a woman. So typically, 10 years back, you had this agony aunt column in a Times of India. Today, there are probably agony aunts everywhere on all forums, trying and helping and sharing their experiences. Because I think one critical factor that we cannot forget in health is emotions. It's not about curing, it's not about feeling better, it's about emotions, it's about a person's daily struggle who's suffering from a disease, and how can they talk to each other, how can they relate to each other. So these forums are helping people from different strata of society, different geographical locations, and they are coming together and talking to each other because they can just relate to each other's emotions. I think for patient advocacy, that's one critical factor we should not forget. In India, on a daily basis, not only on the blogs, not just on Twitter or on Facebook, people are talking about health all across. I mean, we've been tracking some 21 conditions on a daily basis, and we see that month after month, year after year, the expression about health on Facebook or on Twitter is very high. And there's a potential here to understand what are the problems, the genuine problems, which you may not get through market research, because these are spontaneous reactions by people on social channels, real questions by people on blogs, and real problems of patients. So can we understand the emotions behind this? I think it's critical. We worked with this Progeria Research Foundation, and it's a wonderful example through our global partners. Progeria is a rare condition. It's a rare disease. 2009, statisticians said that there are only 58 children in the world with progeria. And statistically, 150 more children were missing. So we, along with our global health PR partners in 16 countries, set on the mission to find this 150 children across the globe. Which was such a challenge. You can imagine how it works. But what happens is when people and communities come together. So right from our Spectrum, who's our US partner, or Aurora, who's our UK partner, we actually reached to patient groups, we reached to doctors, we took use of print media, social media, and spread the word that where are these 150 children? Because there was a clinical trial going on in Boston, and we need to find these children so that we can find some solution for them. Because pharma is not going to invest billions of dollars to find a drug for 150, 200 children. But at the same time, these are children who need help. And in the last 3 years, there are 49 more children that I found, 4 from India, out of which 3 are going to Boston next month for their treatment. So I think that's where, as a group, we could kind of take things ahead. And I think the last slide where I would just mention that these are the things, changing things of times today, where a text message is saving people from cardiac arrest, or you can find trends on Twitter about where the diseases are in a country. So geographically you know where the spot in malaria, spot of dengue, and you can actually reach out to people. So I think this is a new time to come across, and I hope that we all work towards building this society. Thanks a lot.